Oak Park is brimming with all kinds of things to see and do. I'm Elizabeth DeSolo, your village vagabond. Follow me as we discover what Oak Park has to offer. The Visitor Center is not just for tourists. It's where any great Oak Park adventure begins. The center is chock full of the kind of information that makes Oak Park unique. Let's take a look. What are some of the information and services the center provides?
Well, the basic job of a visitor center is to provide information, and so we have that through guides like the visitor guide, but we have guides for basically every attraction, every restaurant, every store. We have between 40 and 45,000 people that come through the visitor center, but that's not the total amount of people that come in the village of Oak Park, which is several 100,000 people. Tourism in Oak Park generates a little under $200 million annually, supports 1,400 jobs, and contributes about $30 million in local and state tax revenue. So tourism is a very important industry to Oak Park. We're very proud of the walking tour. It's our one experiential product that we offer out of the Visitor Center. The Frank Lloyd Wright Home and Studio, Frank Lloyd Wright's Unity Temple, Ernest Hemingway Birthplace and Museum, those are three world-class facilities that people come here every day from around the world to see. The walking tour is on a PDA type of device, so it's on like a little BlackBerry, and you can walk around and use that. We just translated them into several different foreign languages, so if people are feeling fun and frisky, they can check out a different foreign language.
Bienvenue, welcome.
Now, are you able to buy tickets to local events and shows at the Visitor Center?
We work with the theaters to sell theater tickets, such as the Festival Theater Summer Outdoor Plays. We sell tickets for some of the Historical Society events. We also sell tickets for the attractions, the Unity Temple, Ernest Hemingway Birthplace and Museum. We partner all that actually into our walking tour.
Tell me a little bit about some of the things that you'll find in the Visitor Center gift shop.
It'd be pretty boring if we just had information, so we try to pepper it with some local flavor. We have obviously products of the characters from around town, so Frank Lloyd Wright, Hemingway inspired products, but we also have products from artists that reside in Oak Park. Like we sell Simpsons merchandise sometimes because Homer Simpson's voice, the guy that narrates that, is from Oak Park, and a lot of people don't generally know that.
I've lived in Oak Park for about 10 years and I've never been inside the Visitor Center. What are some things that residents can do to enjoy this jewel in Oak Park?
I know a lot of people that live in town generally probably have never come in here, like a lot of people in Chicago don't go up to the Sears Tower. It's a very similar experience. We offer the rickshaw tours via Rickshaw Rick out of here, and actually I think it'd be a fun experience for you as somebody who's never been inside the Visitor Center and learned about your hometown to take one of these rickshaw tours.
All right, let's go. One of the center's most popular attractions are its tours. So let's hop on with Rickshaw Rick's Pedicab and check out Oak Park in a whole new way.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hey, Rick, how are ya?
I'm great. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, have you rickshawed before?
I haven't. That sounds like a personal question.
It is, but you know, don't worry, we'll be gentle.
So, Rick, what's one of the most frequently asked questions you get?
Well, to be honest, the one I hear most frequently is, are we going to be too heavy for you? Are we going to hurt you? And of course the answer is no. I am made of steel. We're entering what I call the right triangle now. Don't worry, it's not like the Bermuda Triangle. The Hills de Caro home from 1906, beautiful example of Japanese. In fact, the little side building, that used to be the ticket booth on the Japanese Pavilion of the World's Fair of 1893. And this is a great example of prairie style. This is the 1902 Arthur Hertley home. And this beautiful archway, that's a tribute to his one-time boss and mentor, Louis Sullivan. And then back to your left, that's the Moore Dougal home. Some people find it hard to believe Frank Lloyd Wright even did that one, but he did. It was designed by him as a young man in 1895, and then he came back in 1923 to rebuild it after they had a tragic fire at Christmas time. And there were literally hundreds, if not thousands, of architects and would-be architects that came to this part of the world after the Great Chicago Fire. One of those young men was George Maher, and we are at what we call the Pleasant Home, ironically at the cross streets of Pleasant and Home. Yes, it's a kitschy name. And it was built for the John Farson family. John Farson was a local banker. He was a banker who should have been the patron saint of all bankers because he decided he needed to put the customer first, so he was all about your customer service. In fact, you see the design, it's based on that small shape in the center, which is actually a serving tray. And George Maher wove that theme in throughout the whole house.
It's kind of romantic back here. Do you get a
Well,
lot of
thanks
people
for
on...
noticing.
Do you get a lot of people on date nights?
Actually, we do sometimes get folks that want to go and have a little fun on their own. Wouldn't you agree this is an easy way to make a smile?
Absolutely. Hear that, fellas? Way to charm the ladies. Take them on a date with Rickshaw Rick.
And of course, this is what all the noise is about, Elizabeth. His home and studio here in Oak Park, where he spent the first 20 years of his career.
Tell me a little bit about the windows in this building.
Well, Frank Lloyd Wright was very fond of this honeycomb art glass, especially in his early career. You see a lot of it in many of the early homes that he did. And this is the earliest, because honestly, he built this in 1889. He was just 22 years old. I don't know what you were doing when you were 22. I was probably eating a burrito.
So there seems to be a lot of greenery on the property. Is there anything special about the trees?
Absolutely. That was a very large part of all the prairie architects, but especially Frank Lloyd Wright. Part of the key was not to disturb nature. That was part of the negative reaction to the verticality of the new downtown Chicago. Frank Lloyd Wright even had a small tree that at one point was growing through part of his house, and he chose to let it grow rather than, you know, what would we do, right?
Chop it down.
Thank you. And he had created this little curb oasis that could accommodate 2 horse-drawn carriages so that my spats wouldn't get dirty and you wouldn't get your skirt dirty. As we got off the carriage, we would come right down onto the sidewalk. Then we'd have to go up one of the steps, because you know you have to come up to his level. Once you're inside, the waiting room is painted with gold leaf. Everything about the experience of coming to see Frank Lloyd Wright was designed to impress and intimidate you a little bit, just so that you knew you were getting something special.
So what next, Rick?
Well, you know, there's one other Oak Parker who is world-renowned and gets a lot of press, and that would be Ernest Hemingway. Would you like to see his birthplace?
Love to.
Watch your step.
Thank you.
And we're off.
Bye, Frank!
And right here is the home in which Ernest Hemingway was born in 1899. He was actually born in the bedroom on the 2nd floor of that turret in this structure. And his father, who was a local doctor, came out to celebrate by coming out on the front porch and playing a few bars on the cornet. They lived here in this home until Ernest was about 3, and after that his father bought another house over on Kenilworth, and that's actually where Ernest grew up. He just would walk straight down the street to Oak Park River Forest High School, and after high school it was on to World War I, and the rest, as they say, is history.
So when was the church built, Rick?
Unity Temple was built right after the original Unitarian Church was destroyed by fire. The church steeple was hit in 1905 by lightning, and the whole thing burned to the ground, and the entire congregation was just heartbroken. Well, almost the entire congregation. Of course, there was Frank Lloyd Wright. Frank Lloyd Wright was a member of this congregation, and he let the congregation know he'd be happy to rebuild the church. And this met with mixed reviews because, of course, well, a lot of the Midwesterners didn't know what to make of his new style, and they thought, oh, now he's going to build a church. Obviously, he got the commission, and the result is behind me. There are a lot of gutsy things going on with this structure, though. It was the first concrete facade structure. We also might ask, where are the windows?
Where are the windows, Rick?
Very good. They are all at the top because, dramatically speaking, he wanted the light to come pouring in, you know, as if from heaven above. And practically, he might say, well, Elizabeth, you're in church. Why do you need to watch who's going up and down the street? You should pay attention. So, Elizabeth, that is our interactive look at our little village called Oak Park. I hope you had fun.
I sure did. Thank you for a wonderful tour on a wonderful afternoon. So the next time you're looking for something fun and interesting to do in Oak Park, check out the Visitor Center or go online to visitoakpark.com.